Paris, this shit hot, boy. She didn't want love, I didn't want cash. Going to the club, I went on some ass. Fill up my coat, so they in bad. But I like the way she throw it back. Yeah, I'ma need a double take. Yeah, so they wanna run away. Yeah, all gas, no.
What's up, guys? I'm Landon from Shoeware, and today we're checking out Langston Galloway's first ever shoe with his very own brand, the Ethics lgOne Launch Edition. So if you're new here, feel free to drop a follow or subscribe wherever you're watching and give this video a like. We would greatly appreciate that. But starting off with the box and the price, I'm assuming that in an effort to kind of save some money, the shoebox is actually the same exact box that they are shipped in. There's like no additional packaging or anything like that. So, I mean, the shipping label is actually just kind of smacked onto the bottom of the box. But, you know, as for the details themselves, those are actually pretty nice. So you're going to get Langston's logo on top of like a grid design on the very top of the shoebox. And then on the front, it actually does spell out just what this Ethics brand kind of stands for, which is going to be brave, tenacious, mighty, resilient, resourceful, and courageous. So it is pretty nice aside from, you know, these being shipped directly in the same exact shoebox. But, you know, as for the pricing, I mean, these do retail for $120, which isn't bad. It's probably, you know, smart to start a shoe kind of on the lower to like middle side of the price range just for basketball shoes. So now checking out the design for this new model, I really do like the way that these look, especially since it is like Langston's first basketball shoe that's completely outside of like any mainstream brand. So at first glance, these did remind me a little bit of like a Kawhi Leonard New Balance design, but I'm sure it's going to draw some similarities to a few different shoes. They pretty much all do nowadays, but these are still pretty unique in their own right. So just to touch on this Ethics brand really quick, since I'm sure most of you have never heard of it before, Langston co-founded Ethics with his wife Monica, and then they also have a former design industry vet from New Balance as part of their team. And you know, during this creation process for this shoe, Langston actually enrolled at Harvard Business School and the NBA's joint program crossover into business, since he is a guard in the NBA. And you know, after various rounds of product sampling and manufacturers, he has arrived at the lgOne, the first ever launch for the Ethics brand. So I really do like the look for this shoe. You're going to get that, you know, Ethics kind of logo with the L tied in there for Langston, kind of across that tongue. It's also going to show up back around the ankle or near the heel. So that's pretty cool. And then I do really like this first color scheme that they have here with more of like a lavender look. It does look really nice in hand. But, you know, I still wouldn't really call this a high top shoe. It's definitely more of a mid. So, you know, just as far as the appearance, I think these came out really well. So now let's get into more of the performance and the material side for these shoes to see how they hold up on the court. So starting off with the cushioning, these have a dual density EVA Pro midsole designed for great absorption from landing from any type of jump. So, you know, just like the name implies, that's basically when the middle region of this shoe is going to consist of two different densities along that material. So in the front, it does feel pretty nice, but I will say in the back, they do lack a little bit. You just don't feel quite as much of a cushion back there. But I mean, this is a new brand, and it's even on top of that, it's their first shoe within this line. So comparing it to a powerhouse like Nike and Adidas isn't really fair whenever, you know, they have a lot more money to spend just to put into their shoes. But if I was comparing it, I would say that it doesn't feel quite as soft. But this is kind of my early stages of playing in these shoes, but they are going to require some break-in time from what I've noticed, because my feet were hurting a little bit, you know, just in the first couple of times that I played in these. But it's definitely still a playable model for sure. So moving on to the materials and the support, this is easily my favorite section or like part about this lgOne model. So like the brand name implies, these are ethically made. So to them, this means using animal-free products, which is ultimately going to be best for the environment. And then part of what separates this lgOne from other mainstream products is that these shoes are entirely hand-stitched. And this type of cut and sew manufacturing is simply unfounded in the current landscape just due to the mass production practices. So this is one of the benefits of kind of having, you know, a smaller brand that starts off being able to put more time and effort into each individual shoe. So I did think that was pretty cool. And then just having these in hand, you can definitely feel the quality of the materials that are being used. And then this is all going to lead to really solid support for this lgOne model, thanks to a bunch of different pieces on this design. So you're going to get a full length inner sleeve that's actually somewhat similar to the LeBron 19 that kind of locks your foot down. And then the laces are also kind of hiding within that upper on the inside that allows them to tighten around your foot a little bit better. You're also going to have a reinforced toe box that kind of runs from the front of the shoe, kind of along that midsole towards the back for some added stability. And then if that wasn't enough, you're going to have a small outrigger in that translucent spot that kind of runs up into the midsole that just gives you somewhat of a wider base. So all of these things going on with this Ethics design, you know, just the time and the effort that they put into the materials and the support categories is probably the highlight of the shoe. So to finish off with traction, I was actually surprised at how these played in a good way. The pattern is more of a wavy design, kind of something along the lines of a Dame 8, just as far as the flow, but you can kind of see a difference in the forefoot where you have some wider gaps between those waves, and then it gets closer together near the toe, and then the center of the foot kind of ranging back to the heel gets that close pattern as well. But you know, these have a sticky feel to play in, which I was definitely happy about. And the gym that I've been testing these shoes out has been, you know, pretty dusty in general, but I actually don't mind that because it does let you know that if these shoes can hold up well here, I'm pretty confident in saying that they'll hold up well in most places. So yeah, no slipping or anything like that on my movements. These did feel good to move around in, but you know, as for sizing, I was a little bit late to the drop on these, so I ended up having to go a half size down because my true to size has sold out already. And I just wasn't really trying to wait on a restock because, you know, they still haven't restocked yet, but I'm actually glad that I did this because they ended up fitting perfect, and I would recommend going a half size down for the length especially. And then these have like a regularly wide fit, I'd say, so I definitely wouldn't call them narrow, but overall there's a lot to like about this Ethics lgOne basketball shoe. I mean, first and foremost is the idea behind the brand, just because, you know, they care about this, all the stuff that they put into this model. And I think that's big in my opinion, because you know you aren't going to get shorted just on the quality of the product. But I mean, yeah, the materials are super great. The support and the traction are going to be above average. And, you know, I would like a little bit of a softer feel, especially in the heel, you know, so maybe they can improve that on the LG2 model. But, you know, altogether, this is a nice starting point for a shoe, and I'm excited to see this brand where it's going in a good direction. So if you're interested in buying these shoes, we'll leave a link to their website in the description, and then also an affiliate link for when they become available there. So, you know, feel free to check that out. But that wraps up this review. Feel free to leave a comment below if you like this video. But until next time, I'm Landon from Shoeware. Peace.